We've got an incredible show lined up for you today on the Invest, Sell, Repeat podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Got my producer here, Josh Davis. Cheers, man.
Cheers, man.
What
Happy
a
Tuesday.
crazy-ass weekend. Can you believe that Super Bowl? Like, that's the
Pretty intense.
biggest comeback ever.
Yeah, and it marks there's never been a franchise I think that have had that many Super Bowl rings, and it was Tom Brady's. Five. He's got a whole hand full of
that's
rings.
insane, man. Who does that?
Tom Brady does.
Where does that type of raw talent come from, man? It's insane.
I
it just
know.
doesn't happen.
Well, it settles the question between Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady, who's the best quarterback, at least for championships. If championships define who's the best, then Tom Brady's the best. And his perfect life and his perfect looks,
He's got everything, man.
He does.
Including 5 Super Bowl rings.
Exactly. I can't imagine having a whole hand, but he did lose his jersey. That was one thing.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Totally got stolen. Out of his locker.
Yeah, and
insane.
the Texas Rangers are apparently on the case to get that thing back. That's not going to happen.
Get Walker, Texas Ranger, on there.
Bring back Chuck, babe.
So what an incredible story to stay in the game.
Right.
When all odds are against you.
No, that's the whole philosophy, I think, and we can really tie that in.
Halftime, I would have bet $1 million. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's over. They've got it sewn up.
Statistics.
It's all good.
Right.
They've won. You know that they celebrated in the halftime in the locker room, and but no, man, stayed in there and fought it out to the very end, and actually came back.
Biggest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Just completely amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, the Patriots, as much as, as a Chiefs fan, you got to hate them because it's like the Yankees, but they're so good. So good.
Stay in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Moral of the story.
Exactly.
Stay in the game.
That kind of ties into what we do.
Keep showing up.
Yeah.
Keep showing up when it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Keep showing up when it's hard and it's tough.
Well, that's the difference, right?
That's the name of the game if you want to be successful.
Exactly.
You got to keep showing up regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what our podcast is geared towards today. It's more motivational than talk about real estate.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing, man. You can have all the skills, you can have all the money, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you've got the wrong mindset, you're going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at Tiger Woods, for example. One of the greatest golfers that ever picked up a golf club.
Right.
An amazing player. He had a 10, 11-year run where he was just almost unbeatable. And the things that he did were just insane.
Right.
They were crazy. But you look at him, so I had the chance to go 2 weekends ago to Torrey Pines to see him play. That was his first time he had played, I think in 18 months. He had taken a break because of some injuries. And, dude, he didn't even make the cut then. Now, he looked like he was in good form. But he was 4 over at the end of the second day and didn't make the cut. Flew out to Dubai this last weekend, and dude shot a 77, which is insane. Like there's a lot of guys out there that go shoot 77 all day long and not even sweat it.
Right.
But you could see. I watched some of the clips of the footage of him playing, and you could see that he was not there mentally.
Mm-hmm.
He was not in the right mindset to play the game.
Yeah,
and so all the comments were like, so is it his workout, that he does? Because he does work out intense, although I think he's changed that over the years. But you could tell complete mindset. You could tell that he was defeated mentally, period. It's like he's hitting the ball right into the drink, like stuff that Tiger Woods just never does.
Not Tiger.
Yeah. So mindset is the name of the game, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's very important for you to be successful in any area. So we've got a list of questions that we're just going to go down. So Josh and I are just going to bounce ideas back and forth off of each other, and we'll go from there. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling.
Okay. Well, and when I wrote this, I think this is what I think is the base elements. A lot of people talk about this is what you do with your cash, but I think it's about the mindset, the full personal philosophies, like we were talking about. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of your what do you think are some personal philosophies that have helped you become successful?
Okay, I'd say one of the most important things is continual education. Especially in this field, and really in any field, markets change and evolve constantly, and real estate is no different, really, than buying stocks or bonds. It's the same type of animal. There's ups, there's downs. It comes in cycles. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it sucks, and the only way that you stay ahead of the game is by knowing your market, knowing what's coming next, and keeping yourself educated. So, we read the Kansas City Business Journal here constantly. Every time it comes out, I read through it, so we know where all the new developments are coming, what's happening, what new companies are coming, where are the jobs at, what's going in the market, where are the declining areas. It's kind of amazing too. 10 years ago, I was looking at properties that were downtown off of 9th Street, and it was a nice area. Got a lead from a guy that had 2 fourplexes over there. This is 2 days ago. Drove down there to look at them, and it was a completely different area in a span of 10 years. You can tell it's a declining area. There was trash everywhere, abandoned buildings everywhere, and like it would be no place that you want to go park your money, right? Or you definitely wouldn't want to get tangled up in that and like get investors involved in that, because it's, you could go fix it up. Yeah, you could do that. You could probably buy the building at a decent discount, but what type of renters are you going to get? Really bad renters. When you think about the relationship between investor and renter, what is it? That's a business relationship. So you want to make sure that you're buying in places where you can put good tenants in that are going to pay you on time and take care of the property and maintain. So this place would have been, we put tenants in, they stay for 6 months, 8 months, maybe pay for 3 or 4 or 5 months, and then we have to evict them, and then we have to do a rent turn, and like it's just all it does is it sucks the life out of you, and it kills your cash flow, right? So really knowing your market, staying ahead of the game, and being educated so you can make smart decisions is the best way to be successful in the real estate field.
Right. Okay. But since we've started this, though, I'm sure you've learned some things, and your mindset, your philosophies have changed. What's that look like? What is the evolution from when I first started doing this, I saw real estate or investing this way, but now I've learned a lot.
Oh man, that's such a deep question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking philosophy, baby.
Yeah, man. I would say the biggest difference is when I first got started, I saw the potential. I knew that I wanted to make a change, but I didn't really know what that looked like, and I didn't know everything that was involved in like starting a business.
All right.
Because I was a 9-to-5er. I had been in construction my whole life. At the time, I was a union bricklayer and used to going and working for somebody else from 7 o'clock to 3:30, in the afternoon, and then after that, my responsibilities were over. And that's not the case as an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur and you're successful, you're working 24/7.
Right.
You're thinking all of the time. You're always trying to plan and move and have better strategies and like make those failures, but pick yourself up and keep going. Completely different mindset. So I can say right now, I don't work physically as hard as I used to, but I am still, if not more, exhausted at the end of the day just because of the mental aspect of staying ahead of the game.
Right.
It's a completely different
feel
muscle,
about
but
it. It's still
different
muscle.
Different muscle. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that was the biggest change that I had to get used to. So I can go and I can work 12-hour days laying block. Did that for years and years. But it took me a while to like build up that strength, like that mental power that you have to stay motivated. Dude, when things are hard and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel,
absolutely.
It drains you like nothing else.
Right.
And it's like, why to get out of bed? Why move forward? Why this? Why that? And all those fears and those doubts and all the BS just starts creeping in so easily.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we can be our own worst enemies, and that.
Oh my God, man!
Oh, come on, you really think you can do this? That sort of thing. It's be able to push past that, though.
One of the biggest things. So I've read almost all of the self-help books. Right. I'm a big proponent of figuring out, okay, what's going on up here?
Yeah.
And how do I change that? And how do I benefit from that? And one of the hardest thing was benefiting from what seems to be failure.
Right. Learn from it. Yeah.
Learning from it. So what you'll find in most cases, if you have the right mindset, is those failures are really your greatest successes, even though it doesn't feel like it and it hurts and it sucks at the time. But I can tell you one thing, I've learned more from bad deals that I've done than I have from good deals where I've made a bunch of money.
Right.
And I've done a lot of both, especially when I first got started, man. I'd go out and I'd buy a house and think that I had it going right, and I had something wrong with the paperwork, right? And then I had problems with the person I was doing a rent-to-own with, and like, dude, that can really mess up your day, especially if you're not doing a lot of deals and you're counting on that one deal to go through. What a horrible situation to be in, to have one deal that has to go through for you to be able to feed your family or pay your bills, right? That's what it was like for me in the beginning. Very sketchy, touch and go. And it took me a long time to like build up all that momentum and get good people on board and like have a pipeline full of deals constantly, which is really the name of the game in real estate. If you want to be successful, you've got to figure out how to be a good marketer, how to fill your pipeline full of quality leads. So as soon as you get one deal done, you've got 5 more in the background or 10 more, in the pipeline that you can just push through. So you get that consistency.
Well, and that goes back to what you're saying, though. Like, how do you get there? How do you acquire that knowledge? Trial and error.
Trial and error. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. It takes time. So I can tell you one thing. Today I have a completely different mindset than I did when I got started. Okay. So I was desperately trying to change when I got started, but it takes time, and that's one of the biggest things is that patience, right? We all want to make $1 million.
Absolutely.
Show
up to the table, walk away with.
But here's the thing: if you gave me $1 million when I first got started, guess what would have happened to it? I would have invested it poorly, or I would have made bad decisions, and that $1 million would have been gone.
Right.
Okay, so now 10 years later, you give me $1 million. What happens? I can take that $1 million and I can turn it into 10 million, right? Because I've got the know-how. I've got the patience. I've got the proven track record. I know how to put stuff together.
Exactly.
So it's a completely different mindset, man, or it's a completely different ball game now than it was when I first got started. So I would say learning from your failures. And here's the thing too. Here's the tricky thing about failure is it's never what it seems. And I know if you're just getting into this and if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur and you're wanting to reach out or you're wanting to do a startup, that's something that you're going to have to learn to deal with and know how to handle it is failure, because the failure is literally the stepping stones that are going to pave the way for you to be successful. And that's hard to deal with, man, because we all want to come out, we want to crush it, right? We want to kill it. We want to be successful. But you're not going to be most likely from the beginning simply because your thinking is wrong.
Well,
right?
Wouldn't everybody do it too if they just like, just step right up and we're going to crush this? I mean, everybody would. I mean, I think it's the difference is perseverance, and not a lot of people have that in them.
Especially when it gets
lonely.
tough.
It's lonely when you're failing. You know what I mean?
God, dude!
Everybody likes a winner. Everybody likes to surround themselves around a winner, but you know.
Yep, you see somebody on TV that's successful, and you say, "Man, I want to be that guy." Right. But what you don't see that's tip of the iceberg stuff. That's success. What you don't see is all the hard work and the decisions and the sacrifices and the getting up and the doing and the investing that it takes to get to that point. It's actually quite huge, man. So it's funny, man, when I get investors in here, and I actually had this happen the other day, that they'll be like, I've got 40 or 50K and I want to buy houses and I don't know what to do with it. And, you can tell where they're at mentally. You can tell most of those people that come in have five-figure mindsets. Right, which means you'll never make 6 figures if you've got a 5-figure mindset. Right, so what do 5-figure mindset people want to do? Right, they want to hold on to their money. They want to buy a property and then go fix it up themselves. Right, because in their mind they can save money, and that's just not the way that it is, man. So if you are getting started and you want to make more money, get more bang for your buck, the best thing that you can do is get plugged into established systems that are working for you, right? Because investors do not make money from swinging a hammer. I don't make money doing that. I don't make money going and painting houses. No, I don't go make money like putting roofs on. No, man. What I do is I buy the deals right. I factor all of that in. Then I buy the deal right so I can pay somebody to go do that for me. And at the end of the day, I still have a good deal,
right?
With great cash flow.
Speaking of currency, time is the ultimate currency.
You
think you're saving money, but you're not really saving money because you're losing time. Yeah, exactly.
Biggest mistake that investors make, especially beginning investors, they do not understand how much their time is worth, and that's really powerful. If you could wrap your head around that one concept,
right? Like
you should know, and that's one thing. When people come in, I ask them, "How much are you worth an hour?" You know what they say? A lot more than what I'm paying myself, typically, is what happens, right? Because they've got a 5-figure mindset, right? 6-figure mindset people, what? they want to outsource as much as possible.
Absolutely, big
right?
picture for them.
They want to get people in that can take care of them, that can handle some of the basic stuff for them that does not make them money. It's not the highest and best use of their time. So me as an investor, what's the highest and best use of my time? Finding deals. Period. Especially in the real estate business, man. If you're not out like actively finding deals, looking at deals, figuring out ways to finance new and bigger deals, and continually pushing yourself and like always being outside of your comfort zone. And that's one thing that I can say, that's one reason why I'm successful, is because I am comfortable being outside of my comfort zone.
Right.
I can get up and I can go make an offer on a $10 million deal and not have the money, all of it lined up, knowing that I know how to do those types of deals, and it'll all come together, but I've got to get the deal first.
Right.
That was kind of a neat concept for me to figure out in the very beginning, is you got to have the deal before you have the money. Wouldn't it be so great if you could just have all the money that you needed to go invest, and then you got all the money, then you can go find the deals and get them plugged in, and like it just doesn't work that way, man.
No.
You have to have the deal before you have the money.
Right.
Period.
But you can find the money.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
you can. Yeah, and the larger the amount of money, the easier it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to round up $50,000 than it is $5 million, right? Because if you're asking for $50K, you don't have that much credibility.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say? Newbie,
Right.
beginning,
Small potatoes.
small deal.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to get a huge return on that $50K necessarily, right? But $5 million, if you're buying an apartment complex, that's bigger, sexier, right? And
Yeah.
it makes a lot more sense to people.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've always liked about real estate is, especially with people that want to come and invest with me, they can come in, they can visit with me. We can actually go look at deals that we're doing. Like, it's complete transparency, right? We can say, hey, here's what you're going to put in. Here's what you're going to get back. Here's the deal. Here's how much it costs. Here's what we can sell it for. Here's the cash flow that we can expect during the meantime. Here is how long it's going to take to sell. Like everything is just out in the open, and it's really easy. So that is one thing I like to say. If you do have cash that you're wanting to get plugged into a deal, give me a call at 816-566-5011. We can definitely get you plugged in. Now, here's the thing, is when you come in and you invest with me, we typically like you to buy 2 investment properties. Now, why is that? We want you to buy investment properties because we want you to have that passive income. Okay? Now, I'm not pitching this just so I can raise capital, but the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that have cash. And here's the thing. If you have cash and you're saving, that is probably the worst thing that you could be doing right now. And why is that? Well, we know that the government is printing off cash faster than like anything that you could ever imagine, which does what to the dollar value?
Or lowers it.
Lowers it. So we know any fiat currency is going to go down to zero. That's what it's designed to do. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be worthless eventually.
Right.
So how do you hedge against that? Well, you get that plugged into assets.
Well, I don't care what the economy looks like, whatever. People are always going to need a roof over their head. Real estate is just as precious as oil. You know what I mean?
So get this. So in bad times, what happens to rents?
It goes up.
Rents actually go up.
Exactly. People don't.
Why
wanna
is
buy.
that? Because people can't go get they can't get a home loan.
Exactly.
Because credit's tightened up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my business and the way that I've got it structured is very, very legitimate. As a matter of fact, the worse the economy gets, the better my cash flow model works, which is pretty amazing, right? So it's a way to hedge against downturns in the economy.
Well, it's a safety system.
So here's the thing, too. So let's say that you came and you bought a house from me, or you invested with me in a property that's a cash flowing asset, and everything went to zero, right? Okay, so real estate is like any other market. There's ups and there's downs, right? So when do you want to buy as an investor? You want to buy when it's as low as possible, okay? So let's say that we bought when it was kind of mid-range, right? Or maybe even up on the upper end, but we bought it right and we bought it for cash flow, and the market goes down to zero. Here's what happens is, well, you still have that cash flow coming in, and if it's structured right, you don't need to sell it when it's way down, do you? and lose a bunch of money. No, man, what do? You hang on to it. You let that cash flow come in, and then you simply just wait. Wait until the market comes back and it gets up high again. Then you can liquidate, right? Wait for the market to crash and buy it up again. That's what all these big-time money guys do, is they know when to buy, they know when to sell, and instead of what like every other investor does. What do most investors out there do? Especially
react, right?
Especially investors that are buying stocks and bonds. So they buy when it's high because the market's hot, and in their mind it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up, which is ridiculous. It doesn't do that. It goes up and it goes down.
Right.
So they buy high when it's way up here. Then it crashes and they panic. Oh, crap, my stock isn't worth anything. What's happening? Sell, sell, sell. And they lose a bunch of money.
Right. It's
completely backwards of what it should be.
You want the head over the heart. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
Be able to see 10 moves ahead instead of, well, what's happening right now?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the market in Kansas City has always been very stable. So let's look at the crash back in 2007. And it did fall about 20% here, but by 2010, it was just about recovered. So you had a 3-year period there where it was kind of down, but then after that, all you see is like steady appreciation. And that's what people come to Kansas City for, is to buy appreciation. No, to buy cash flow, because this is a very stable. You look over a 30, 40, 50-year period, what do you see? You see this nice steady increase. You don't get these huge ups. You don't come here, buy a property from me, and then in 5 years have another 40% equity, right? This isn't California. But what you do is you get that steady increase. You get, on average, depending on where you're buying, 5 to 8% appreciation, right? On top of that, you get incredible cash flow, because you can be all in on properties here that rent, all in for $60K, $50, $60K on properties that rent for $700 to $800 a month.
I guarantee people on the East and West Coast go, that's insane to me. Like
it is.
They think it's too good of a deal.
We do have to spend time convincing them that no, this is real.
This is not snake
this
oil.
This is a real property.
Yeah.
These are real numbers, and this is really how it works. And as a matter of fact, those people that are skeptical just because it's a new concept to them, like, you don't have to pay $500,000 for a 3-bedroom house. Like, no, you don't. No, they're cheap here. We tell them, come out and visit us. We actually have got, every day next week, we've got investors lined up to come in and check out our operation, look at what we're doing, go look at properties in all different stages, from ones we just purchased that haven't been rehabbed yet, to properties that are fixed up, that have tenants in place, and they can buy with immediate cash flow. So it's a pretty amazing time to be a real estate investor. We have a few more years left where you can still buy properties where with that great cash flow. Now, I can say prices are creeping up slowly. I'm probably paying 15 to 20% more for my deals than I was 12 to 18 months ago.
That's right.
Okay, so we're not seeing like crazy huge like 2007 prices right now. Everything's still very affordable. Rents are still very affordable for renters, which just makes it such an attractive market on so many levels. Business friendly too.
Yeah.
Completely. Like, so you know what it costs to get an LLC set up here? $150, right? Maybe $200. Get an LLC set up, takes a few days, super easy to do. Taxes are insanely cheap here.
There's probably a reason why Google and Amazon are deciding to come here, but that comes with something like when this city starts to expand, that will change. You have to be able to get in at the right time, and
Absolutely.
Kansas City is evolving and it's growing rapidly.
It is. There's construction going on everywhere.
Everywhere, which is fun for driving, but
So the average rent on my investor prop deals that I sell for, 50 to 60K is around $300 a year. $300 a year, which is pretty amazing, right? So there's so many things that just make sense about Kansas City. There's so many things that make sense about investing here. Get incredible returns. So if you're wanting to build up a portfolio, if you're wanting to build cash flow, you need to give me a call again at 816-566-5011, and we'll get you plugged into deals. And we got a lot of them right now. We got some killer deals. Right, you talk to a couple of my guys in the call center. We'll take care of you.
Right, and they're good.
Yep, they are. They're really good. Very professional.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable. We spent a lot of time training these guys, sitting with them for hours and hours, and just showing them, hey, this is how everything works. So I think you'll be really impressed with them. So,
all right. Well, I really think we covered it because I think my other questions were really just something you.
I got on a
covered.
tangent. I started rambling.
You did it, and you. Not much of a Q&A, but you still hit all the points. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else we want to say?
Just follow us on all the social media. We networks. We work really hard to put out a lot of good content.
Yeah, that's very important.
So this is a weekly show that we do, the Invest Sell Repeat podcast, and we're doing a lot of video content too out in the field. We've got a lot of products that we've come up with to help you in your investing career, and it's really powerful. So we want you to get plugged into what we're doing. And we want you to be successful, and we want you to crush it in 2017, right? There's like no time like the present, and there's never been a better time to be a real estate investor than right now. So no excuses. Let's get out there, crush it, do a bunch of deals, and we can all make a whole lot of money.
All right.
Sound like a plan. We'll see you guys on the next show.
See you next week, guys. Bye.